This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
From Broad Ripple to Mass Ave to Georgia Street, busy Indianapolis areas are wrapping up their first day of street closures to accommodate outdoor dining. And as you can see, customers did not hesitate to enjoy a meal away from home and under the sun. Good evening to you here at 11 o'clock. I'm Mark Mullins.
And I'm Amanda Starantino. Those street closures are scheduled to continue through July 4th. WRTV's Cameron Riddle asked visitors what went right and what could be improved after day one.
For the first time in months, there is life in the streets of Indianapolis. And in Broad Ripple, the closing of Broad Ripple Avenue made for a pedestrian and biker's paradise, as so far, only one restaurant is taking advantage of the outdoor dining in the street. But on Mass Ave, it was a different story.
It'd be cool if it was an all-the-time thing, because it kind of feels like a block party, you know?
The closure of Mass Ave to vehicle traffic has enabled restaurants to place tables and chairs in the street with the idea of allowing customers room to socialize from a safe social distance. Is there social distancing happening?
On a side note, no, but yeah, we're having a good time out here still. Everybody seems to be having, fun, staying safe.
After nearly 3 months of staying at home, a face mask on Mass Ave is hard to spot. But what is clearly visible is the desire to socialize and help local businesses after the economy hit a screeching halt. City leaders believe closing the streets to vehicle traffic is the jumpstart businesses need.
I think it's good for, obviously, the businesses. The people who want to make money are here to make money, and they're going to continue to do so. As far as safety goes, I guess we'll see.
In Indianapolis, Cameron Riddle, RTV6.
Outdoor dining is allowed at restaurants throughout Marion County, not just at those popular Indianapolis corridors either. Tonight, we stopped by Giacomo in Irvington, Sam's on 86th Street, and Dawson's on Main Street in Speedway. All three were busy. Workers at Dawson say having customers back at tables is a welcome sight.
We're continuing to do the takeout thing, and it's been good, but it's nothing like having people sit down at the tables and be able to see people that we haven't seen in quite some time. You can only get so close to people when they're driving up in their car, and it's great to see our regulars and some new people that just want to get out and about.
Restaurants can expand or add an outdoor dining area with a temporary permit. Indoor dining in Marion County is still restricted until at least June 1st.
And stage 3 of Indiana's reopening plan kicked off today in most parts of Indiana. That means social gatherings can include up to 100 people. Community pools and campgrounds can open. Retail stores and malls can be open at 75% capacity. And gyms and fitness centers can open with restrictions. Those stage 3 changes do not include Cass, Lake, and Marion counties. And that means places like CrossFit Naptown and Indianapolis are still waiting to get back in business. Staff members are preparing for when they can come welcome guests again. A professional cleaning crew goes to the gym on a regular basis. Equipment is rearranged for social distancing, and other safety precautions for guests will be taken as well.
Once they arrive, we're going to have the doors wide open so that people don't have to touch handles as they're coming into the gym. Our coaches are going to be there with a no-touch thermometer.
The equipment that they're going to need for the class is going to be in the square as soon as they come in, so they don't need to touch anything.
As of now, there is no timeline for gyms to reopen in Marion County. Officials say there will be an update on the county's order next week.
The state says a program to help supply businesses with personal protective equipment like masks and hand sanitizer is expected to send out 15,000 orders next week. The governor's office announced the PPE marketplace earlier this month as part of the plan to reopen the economy safely. At today's update, officials said more than 20,000 orders have already been shipped. The program connects small businesses and nonprofits with PPE that can be acquired through the state.
The last few months have not been easy for anyone. And at the IEDC, one of the highlights has been hearing from Hoosier businesses who have been able to reopen in the last few weeks. Hoosiers like Mark Coleman of Valparaiso, who is having issues finding any PPE for his business, who declared it was like Christmas morning when he got his bundle.
charge. When it comes to the toll COVID-19 is taking on Hoosier lives, 1,791 deaths in Indiana are now blamed on the virus. 27 of those were reported between May 6th and yesterday. More than 208,000 people have been tested and just under 15% have tested positive.
At Tyson Foods, safety is not something that we take lightly.
Big changes are underway at Tyson meat plants across the country after thousands of coronavirus cases have been traced back to the company. That includes the Tyson plant in Logansport, which shut down for almost 2 weeks after hundreds of workers tested positive. The outbreak has delayed reopening stages in Cass County. More than 1,500 people there have been tested positive. That makes Cass one of the top counties in the country when it comes to COVID-19 cases per 100,000 residents. Tonight, WRTV's Cornelius Hawker shares what he learned from a Tyson executive about how the company plans to keep their workers and our community safe.
Checking temperatures, sanitizing break rooms, and on-site medical screenings are being done at Tyson meat plants to stop the spread of COVID-19.
We are not afraid to slow down plants or even idle plants if it means keeping our team members safe.
Tyson Senior Vice President of Human Resources, Hector Gonzalez, described for me this greater focus on employee safety.
Safety is our top priority. It comes first before we run any ounce of meat through any of our facilities.
Despite all the safety measures Tyson says they put in place, some workers still don't feel comfortable going back to work, including Gary Whitehouse, who I spoke with 2 weeks ago after the Logansport plant reopened.
They say the ones that get affected the worst are the elderly and the children. Well, I'm around elderly people, I'm around children every day, and I'm gonna be 50 next year. So it's not worth it.
Gary says he's not alone, even though Tyson signs are proudly displayed outside of several homes in the city.
There's so many people that are saying that they're not going to go back to work because they don't feel safe going there.
Because they know a lot of people are worried about the virus in their community, Tyson is also encouraging workers to be safe as possible when they aren't at work.
We've furnished face coverings for team members and for their families, and have continued to offer face coverings to team members as they leave work.
Hoping to cut down on the community spread that could be linked to their facilities. Working for you, Cornelius Hawker, WRTV.
And these safety measures at Tyson plants are expected to stay in place indefinitely while we all deal with this pandemic. Gary, the worker we talked to, says he does not have plans to go back to work.
Now to the Storm Team 6 forecast. Storm Team 6 Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory joining us now, helping you plan for your Memorial Day weekend. Hey, Kevin.
Well, Mark, we made a step forward today into the 70s. We'll leap into the 80s tomorrow and stay there for quite a while. If you've been outside, it's a dry, warm evening. Temperature 66 in Indianapolis, Lafayette at 66 as well. Talk about our temperatures the next several days. We're going on a streak here where temperatures will stay in the 80s. The humidity also coming up, and that's one of the building blocks for afternoon thunderstorms each day. There's our probability of thunderstorms through the day tomorrow. Most likely late afternoon. I'd say after 1 o'clock, so it wouldn't be that late afternoon, but 1 to about 7. I'll have more on that timing for you. Plan on 82 degrees. That's one of the coolest days within the 7-day forecast. I'll unveil the other 6 coming up.
And we are working to learn more about a shooting on the northeast side of Indianapolis. Police say the victim was found in critical condition at around 7:30 this evening at 34th and Keystone. Detectives say she may have been shot somewhere else. The victim's age or name has not been released.
Hiring Hoosiers is committed to helping you find work and career opportunities that are still available as this pandemic continues. The need for nurses is growing, and according to the Bureau of Health Workforce, Indiana will have a deficit of more than 20,000 registered nurses by the year 2025. WGU Indiana, an online university, targets students living in rural areas that are underserved by higher education. The director of the nursing program says WGU is also a good option for non-traditional students.
There's a lot of nursing programs that meet the needs of the 18-year-old right out of high school, and plenty of programs for that. Our program works with older adults. My average student is 37 years old, has a full-time job, and is raising a family.
Mary Carney says the pandemic has not led to drastic changes in the program. Students already take classes remotely. For more information on this, go to hiringhoosiers.com.
Here is a tasty way to cool off this weekend and help maintain a Fountain Square staple by stopping by the wine market. The Fountain Square Merchants Association is running low on funds to keep up the fountains on Virginia Avenue. The wine market has been one of the few storefronts that stayed open in the last 2 months. It offers more than 70 different bottles of wine slushy kits to go, and food. The owners say they want to do their part to help maintain the beauty and charm of the community.
Fountain Square wouldn't be what it is without the fountains. So many people go down, take pictures all day, hang out in the area. We have programming and free concerts. So we really need to come up with better ways to help make that sustainable. Our small part, I think people will show up to help do so and make it possible. I mean, we're just a conduit to hopefully pass on the money.
This weekend, as well as next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the wine market will donate $2 from each slushy sale and $1 from all other items to the Fountain Square Merchant Association to keep the fountains running. They hope to raise $5,000. The wine market is open every day from noon to 8 p.m. for carryout.
Sounds like a win-win to me. Thank you. And as the country reopens, more people are vacationing at rental properties. Next, the changes and precautions companies like Airbnb are requiring to help protect their guests.
I'm Dave First with another RTV6 Senior Salute as we continue to honor the outgoing spring sport athletes. We head to Roncalli, meet Amber Linton, as good as it gets in high school softball, 3-time All-Marion County, 3-time All-Conference, All-State as a junior, and her career is far from done. Amber accepted a scholarship at Indiana University. She'll trade in the Rebel Red for Hoosier Cream and Crimson. Good luck in Bloomington, Amber. I'm Dave First with another RTV6 Senior Salute.
Savings on wireless. Call 1-800-XFINITY today.
This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
Memorial Day weekend comes as more states relax their restrictions. The combination is prompting more people to travel out of town. Sites like Vrbo and Airbnb are seeing a boost for Memorial Day, and they're sharing updated cleaning guidelines for property owners. Things like disinfecting high-touch surfaces, building in time between bookings to avoid back-to-back stays, and stocking sanitizing supplies for guests. Industry analysts say it's important for property owners to communicate clearly. Guests should also ask questions before booking.
It would be great for the property owners to hear those concerns directly from the incoming guests so they can continue to make adjustments to attract those guests and figure out what they need to, market and publish out on the various platforms.
Leaders with Avalera, a company that handles tax compliance for rentals, say guests should also ask about the surrounding community where they plan to stay. Questions like, are there any business restrictions or are masks required?
A great way to open up that conversation with the property owner and also to determine, are there any other concerns that anybody's got that either the property owner can address or, the guest wants to bring up.
You'll also want to ask about refunds and flexibility and canceling. An area could suddenly see a surge in cases and have to close down again.
Well, Kevin, it was a very gloomy week, and we have Mark here still too. It's been a gloomy week, and we've been waiting for this sunshine that we get. Kevin, what can we expect in the next coming days?
The momentum will carry over to the weekend. That's the good news. You mentioned the cloudy, cool conditions we had yesterday and most of the week have been replaced by some sunshine today, temperatures in the 70s, and then we'll move into a warm and humid weekend. Let's talk about how things will change as the temperature not only climbs, but the humidity comes up as well. And we'll continue with the daily chance of thunderstorms. Don't let that intimidate you to change your plans. The coverage of the thunderstorms will not be that widespread. So there will be thunderstorms, but the chance in any one place not great. Notice Memorial Day, 87. That's the warmest temperature within the 7-day forecast. If you look at the humidity levels, we're moving to the top of the scale. You felt a little today. You'll feel a little more tomorrow, and then I think we start to peak in the humidity department as we get to Memorial Day and next week. That means if it rains, it pours. with the humidity so high. There's lots of moisture in the atmosphere. That's one of the building blocks for thunderstorms, and also can lead to some heavy rainfall when we do have the thunderstorms. A few of those could be strong in the northern half of the state tomorrow. We're in a marginal or low risk. Damaging wind would be the main threat, along with some pockets of heavy rainfall with the thunderstorms that develop. As far as the timing, 7 a.m., any morning rain should be confined in the southern third of the state. By noon, see Sullivan, south of Terre Haute, there's a little thunderstorm bubbling up. Then we see more as we get to the afternoon hours at 4 o'clock in the warm, humid air. Those lift to the north and east and dot the landscape tomorrow evening. Then they begin to fade away once we cool things off. That's the pattern each day. We warm up, we flare up some thunderstorms, we cool down, then those disappear. Temperatures in the 80s tomorrow everywhere. Sunday temperature warmer, up to 86 degrees. As I mentioned, Monday will be the warmest day, and temperatures running about 10 to 15 degrees above average in spots. Next week, Tuesday and Wednesday, will hold on to the chance for thunderstorms. But the 80s are going nowhere. It took so long to get these that we get to hold on to them for a while. Up to this point, we've only had 2 days where the temperature had reached 80 degrees in the month of May. Looks like we'll polish off here the next week with overnight lows close to 70 degrees, afternoon highs in the 80s. If you like heat and humidity, then you're at home. Don't go anywhere.
Well, thank you, Kevin. Instead of thousands of people enjoying practice, music, friends, and drinks, Indianapolis Motor Speedway is quiet on this Friday before Memorial Day. Of course, it would have been Carb Day. The Indianapolis 500 and related events are postponed to August due to the pandemic. Sports Director Dave First asked the most recent Indy 500 winners how they're feeling during this unusual time.
The gates are closed, the stands are empty, the yard of bricks still look pretty good. This is not your usual Friday, a Memorial Day weekend at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Odd for fans, certainly, but imagine being a driver. Well, the last 2 champions of the Indy 500 did what a lot of us have done the last couple of months. They hopped on Zoom. And both inspired by a couple of things. The fact the IndyCar Series will be at the Texas Motor Speedway in a couple of weeks, and the Indy 500, it's coming up in August.
How bizarre is it to be sitting at home on what would have been Carb Day?
Yeah, it just totally doesn't feel like it. Like, I haven't been keeping an eye on the date. I didn't even realize that we're actually in May. I didn't know that because it just doesn't feel like, it just feels like the off season.
Did you find yourself this week thinking Monday I would have been doing this, Tuesday I would have been doing this?
Yes, it really hit me on qualifying weekend. I was missing something that's very dear to my heart. Is that feeling of, putting everything on the line to go get pole position. It's just the best feeling in racing.
Absolutely looking forward to getting back in that car and getting things rolling, because I think, once we've seen NASCAR do it, and once IndyCar does it, and a few of these other major sports do it, I think people will see that, oh, okay, it's safe to go out once they add fans. And things will get rolling real quick.
The idea is that Gasoline Alley will be filling up before you know it. If you're counting at home, just 43 days away from the first racing event weekend here at the Speedway. The GMR IndyCar Grand Prix on Saturday, July 4th, then the Xfinity NASCAR Series race, and then the Brickyard 400 July 5th. Sign out front says back on track. Race cars will be soon enough here at the Speedway. Day first, RTV6 Sports.
Let's hope so, Dave. Thank you. The Rebound Indiana is WRTV's effort to help you and your family get through the pandemic. Here are some of the ways that we've worked to make sure you have access and connect you to the necessities you need.
Take a minute to pray for all of our families in need.
Christina Huffine started extreme couponing with a personal agenda before she realized that she could use her skills to help others.
I'm one of those crazy couponers. I learned that I can get like toothpaste and some other items for free. So I got a little obsessed with it.
Her obsession became a drive to coupon for a cause, and that is how she founded Dotted Line Divas 5 years ago.
Families get everything free.
We want people to be as healthy as they possibly can. And so when you have good oral hygiene and you're taking care of your body, you're able to perform well at work. You're able to show up the best that you possibly can.
Even if, you don't try to make the art beautiful, it
it turns out beautiful.
The third grader at the Edison School of the Arts is keeping up with her academics through paper packets. She can't do any of the work online. She has no access to internet service because of a past due cable bill with Spectrum. Her mother has faced tough financial times and says she may owe about $1,000. The advocacy group Stand for Children is critical of Spectrum for not helping kids that through no fault of their own are disconnected from the internet during a time that schools statewide were forced to turn to e-learning due to the pandemic. A spokesperson tells RTV6 we don't comment on specific customer issues. That statement goes on to say that our position has not changed relative to our 60-day free internet offer for students and educators. Beyond that, we have extended that availability through June the 30th. The situation will be somewhat better in the fall for students, especially in the IPS school system. The school system is investing some $3 million to purchase 9,000 MiFi units. Those units will provide the wireless service for those families who can't afford the access to the internet.
For just $1, only at Hardee's.
This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
There's a growing push to allow employees to work from home permanently, even after the COVID-19 pandemic ends. ABC's Kimberly Brooks looks into the pros and cons as another major company announces changes.
This morning, Facebook making a major announcement.
Over the next 5 to 10 years, about 50% of our people could be working remotely.
The social media giant becoming the latest in a string of big companies to give workers the option to stay home forever. Like Twitter, looking to be out of office permanently. And while Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg says employee pay will change depending on where they choose to work, the company plans to open spaces in Atlanta, Dallas, and Denver, specifically designed for remote users.
But we're going to do this in a way that is measured and thoughtful and responsible.
One Harvard study finds working remotely is beneficial for both the company and the employee, with workers saying they feel more productive and are more likely to stay with the company, allowing them to work from anywhere in the country.
Companies are going to realize how much they were spending previously on travel just to put people into the same room with each other.
But one major drawback, the lack of face-to-face interaction.
Keep hearing from our customers about this video conference burnout that they're feeling. It's the lack of personal attention when you're in the meeting. We want to bring that back.
And while some companies, like this one in California, are using virtual reality programs in an effort to give work from home a more traditional office feel, this really creates a lifelike experience. A linguistics expert from Georgetown University says that gender imbalances are amplified during remote meetings because women are more likely to be interrupted or even flat out ignored on a digital platform.
That was Kimberly Brooks reporting. Last week, Indianapolis-based Eli Lilly said it will likely be several months before large numbers of employees return to the corporate headquarters. We'll be right back right after this.
6 working together, working for you.
Well, I couldn't get her to make a live appearance, but Rory Gregory made a visit to the home broadcast studio here in the basement just a little while ago. It was brief. She's back upstairs, curled up and probably asleep. For us tomorrow, temperatures, they start warm and they stay warm. We'll quickly make our move on into the low to mid 80s. And Amanda, is Leo ready to go out in the heat tomorrow?
Leo is resting too, just like Rory, because I'm sure they have big plans for Memorial Day with all that nice warmth we have coming. Hopefully you have a great Memorial Day weekend.